All right, namaste everyone. My name is Sudeep Giri and I'm going to be talking about the duty. Okay. Well, you guys already know what I'm going to be talking about, duty of students. And so I'm going to start off with a quote of mine while I came up with, in this presentation, the discipline's duty must become discipline in order to realize dreams. Now this is us. We are a seedling, as children, we are fragile. This is how we grow, step by step, a little bit. And then this is who we will become. A tree, strong, with deep roots and holding up large branches, and then on those branches are going to be lots of leaves and then probably fruits. Now, before we get into the bread and butter of the subject, I want to go a little bit into the history behind education. So 19th century India realized education as a path towards modernization. In order to advance as a unified nation, the people of India had to involve Western education and the English language. Now, let's take an example of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Now, he lived from 1772 to 1833, which is basically during the time of 19th century India's reform movement. And his central goal was modernization through education. Now, a basic example of what he was thinking, can be quoted from the perspectives on education in India. So basically, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, one of the first to support English education, did so because he saw it as a weapon to fight the abuses and perversions that had crept into the religious beliefs and social practices, and as a means of removing irrational superstitions and outmoded rituals, and thus pave the way of modernization. Now, Raja Ram Mohan Roy believed in the Upanishadic philosophy. The superiority of Vedic knowledge and Sanskrit was one thing he did not have faith in, unfortunately. Now, like him, the colonial education system of the West was very much welcomed into the elite cities of India like Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras. Now, here lies a solution of increased employment and social transformation, but the problem became the loss of religious education and cultural legacy. This is where Swami Dayanand comes into play. So he said that education is leading from darkness to light, from untruths to truth, and from ignorance to knowledge. He realized modern education a little differently from the British. Now, what's the difference? Well, he proposed, first proposed by Lord Macaulay, the downward filtration theory recommended no need for offering modern education for each and everyone in the country. Instead, only the elite will get the advanced education they need, and that will be filtered down to everyone else. Now, Swami Dayanand promised a universal education for everyone, and through, he wanted equality in education, boys and girls all alike. And he didn't think like Macaulay where only the elite will get the education. He thought that everyone should get the education equally. So then here lies the concept of brahmacharya. And through the concept of the brahmacharya through the Vedic tradition in Gurukul is Swami Dayanand's proposed system of education. He, visioned that advanced education incorporating Vedas and spirituality to form a strong mind and body was the system, that should be incorporated. And he used this during the movement of Arya Samaj back, in the day. Now, we'll go further into duties as students, the actual bread and butter. So the first one, associate intuitively. What do we do in school? We learn new things. We make connections between what we've learned and what we witness every day. We see the world in a new light, a new perspective. And that's when we truly understand what we see. But that's good and all, but why should we associate intuitively? Making connections between objects, ideas, and thoughts will make you smart, but success is in using those connections to help people. Be unique. Success is not being the same, it's being different. Like this rubber ducky here you see. In a crowd of people, a clown is the most noticed. Sometimes you have to be radically different to attract attention. Now, don't try to be someone else. Try to be the best version of yourself. Being yourself and accepting yourself leads to happiness, and therefore happiness leads to fulfillment. Now, being a student, doesn't always mean studying all day. Moments count, and realize them, and they become memories. I remember one time, we were cleaning in the yard before we moved, and my mom saw the trash on the ground and near the garden, and I looked there and I saw a tulip, a red bright tulip, and I didn't think of anything, but I gave it to my mom, and she smiled, and time froze. And that moment I will always cherish, and it reminds me that even in the worst of times, even in hard situations, moments like those can always be made. It's something that we as students must know that can happen. Now, concentrate nonstop. I'll give you an example. Swami Vivekananda ji, he had this quote. He said, to make the very essence of education is concentration of mind, not the collecting of facts. In school, we learn very, very quickly, and then we just test, and all that's doing is regurgitating facts. But what we should do is thoroughly focus on the deeper meaning that we're learning, or else education just becomes learn, memorize, test, and forget. Now, anyone remember the story of the tortoise and the hare? Basically what happened was the tortoise and the hare started, but the hare ran very, very fast, but midway he got a little bit lazy, decided to sleep, and when he woke up, the tortoise had already won, because the tortoise was going step by step and got to the end. Now, one quote from this song that I remember that my dad used to tell me when I was little, it's in Bangla, and it says, "Chotto chotto pai cholte cholte thik pohunch jabo." Every little step, doesn't matter how small your legs are, but in the end you'll get there. Dream big. Go big or go home. Now, who wants to be a doctor? Raise your hands. Who wants to be a doctor? An engineer? Now, and when I said go big or go home, I kind of meant me. I want to be an astronaut. And, everyone else here wants to be in any profession that earns a lot of money, right? And a lot of fame. So, who wants to be a janitor? All hands down, right? Well, not that I have anything against them, but we want to do something that will make an impact and something that we will be remembered by, especially with our peers. Take risks. Be careful, but take risks. If you're in the dark, you won't know what light is until you actually step into the light. And, if you ask that question, what if? Well, that's where we all falter. Don't worry, it'll work out. Again, be careful, but take risks. Now, one step at a time. Everything doesn't happen in one step, two step, or three steps. None of us are Dorothy Gale, who has silver shoes, where in 3 steps or 3 taps, she just imagines where she wants to be and she just gets there. Take it one step at a time. Now, I want to end with this quote. Bill Britt, he was a very, very successful businessman, and he said, success is measured by how many people are better off because you lived. And something that, I would tell myself when I was, if I were, little, is you're not alone. You'll get there. Don't be afraid. Thank you.